Black or African American? What should I say? As a white man, what should I say? Because one of the things about a white man is we're known as historically the oppressors here, especially as an American. There's a certain, Louis C.K., the comedian, had actually said, you can't really insult a white man except for if you're calling him a racist. Then you're going to make him feel uneasy. And I can relate to that. I never want to be perceived as a racist. I want to be perceived as the opposite of that, because if that's any kind of stereotype about white men, I want nothing to do with it. So I think a lot of white people in America have this subconscious struggle. What am I supposed to call people who are black? Would they rather be called African American? Well, I made a video about that, and somebody helped me out in the comment section. I made a video, I think it was called, Is Being Out of Touch with African American Culture a Part of Being White? That was the video I made. So Lorenzo Richardson, thank you for helping me out, leaving this comment, quote, please call me a black American. And yes, to be colorblind is a form of racism, because what you are essentially saying is you're not acknowledging me as a person. He says, I would rather be called a black American. I really appreciate this video, end quote. Thank you, Lorenzo, I like you. And he's referring to something I had said in the video too, and that is, I am not someone who's colorblind. I know that's the politically correct, safe thing we've been taught to believe. Oh yeah, you should be colorblind. You shouldn't see a person's color. You should just see them for who they are as a person. No, I don't believe that at all. That's fundamentally opposed to what this channel is about. What this YouTube channel is about acknowledging how we're different and celebrating those differences together. That, to me, is what's showing respect to any other culture, any other nationality, any other race. That's how we show respect. To ignore the differences, to say, oh, you're black, I didn't notice. Oh, you're Chinese American, I didn't notice. To do that's disrespectful, because then you're separating the culture of that person based on from their ethnicity. We all have some sort of culture as Americans that's built into our ethnicity to some degree, maybe some more than others. But to say, oh, I don't see color. No, I see color, I celebrate color, I appreciate color, because color isn't color. Color is culture. Color is history. Color is identity. And I don't believe in turning a blind eye to that, or ignoring it, or tiptoeing around it. I ask questions. To me, by asking questions such as this, that's how I'm showing respect. And so now I know. Now I know to say black as compared to African American. I know instantly a rebuttal could be, but Nick, why even say black at all? Why can't you just say person? Well, here's why. What I do on this channel on a regular basis is I'm talking about ethnicity and diversity. So for example, one of the things I bring up a lot is how opposed I am to Columbus Day. I think it's a racist holiday that celebrates Europeans discovering a continent that was already here, and the people that were already here, we ignore them, and what all happened to them. And I've said, what's the closest thing we have to the opposite of that? Martin Luther King Day. Now, if I were talking about that as a third-party neutral perspective, what would I say? Would I say African American people, or would I say black people? See, now I know. So it's not like I go around saying, yeah, look at those black people over there. That's not what I do. Because anything like that can be taken out of context. If it's negative, we could say that to the word Mexican. I've asked that in a video before. Is Mexican itself a slur? We could say that about Jews, Jewish people. We could say that we can take any ethnicity and make it some kind of slur if there's some kind of negative connotation attached to it. But I say, if it's neutral, if it's positive, if it's asking a question to become enlightened, then that's not racist. That's the opposite of racist. Now, granted, you may be a black American, you may be black and watching this video and say, you know what, Nick, that's one person's opinion, and maybe that's most people's opinion, but it's not mine. I actually prefer African American. Then let me know in the comments. I want to be enlightened. But my perception so far is African American is a term that white people use because we're afraid to be perceived as racist. So we use the politically correct term, which only further distances us from black culture. And I get it. I'm a white guy, so there's white culture in me. And there's always going to be somewhat of a disconnect. I'm never going to fully understand what it's going to be like to be part of black culture. I can try, but I'm never fully going to get there. And that goes with any other culture. But I like to ask these questions so that I can get a little bit closer to understanding. So that I'm not colorblind, but instead, I celebrate what I see. When I see color, when I see culture, when I see identity, I celebrate that. So thanks again for helping me out. If you have anything to add to this, let me know. I'm all about having an open mind and learning.